The CIA kills the head of al-Qaeda. Nancy Pelosi visits Taiwan. And there's a new, more inclusive term to describe breastfeeding. That and more on this week's headlines. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Matt Gnezda. Heavy rainfall last week led to massive flooding in eastern Kentucky, which left at least 37 dead with hundreds still missing. Large swaths of Kentucky have been turned into a swamp, which is terrible. Well, except for one resident of Kentucky. Turtles love swamps. And in Northern California, a wildfire has spread across over 55,000 acres, forcing thousands to evacuate and killing 4. This is California's largest wildfire this year, which is different from California's largest dumpster fire, which is still San Francisco. Speaking of things that are crumbling, the Pope. Pope Francis has acknowledged that his health has made traveling difficult and that he may soon retire. He said, "I think that at my age and with these limitations, I have to save my energy to be able to serve the church. Or, on the contrary, think about the possibility of stepping aside." If Francis does, he would be the second pope in a row to leave his position while still alive. You know what that means. Even God is being affected by the employee shortage. Speaking of things that might upset God, abortion. Now that Roe v. Wade has been overturned, the issue of abortion has been kicked back to the state governments. And the state of Louisiana has reinstated its abortion ban, which had been halted by judges until now. This means they've had to update the map. Yep, there's a map that keeps track of all the states where abortion is fully and partially banned. I think I'm noticing a pattern. The more likely a state is to have awesome biscuits, the more likely they're going to make every woman carry a fetus to term. So remember, biscuits and gravy, you're keeping the baby. Kansas has become the first state to give its citizens the chance to vote on abortion. And they voted to reject a proposed amendment that would have given state legislators authority to limit or ban abortions in the state. In other words, Kansas won't make you carry on your wayward sons to term. Meanwhile, in Michigan, a judge blocked county prosecutors from enforcing an abortion ban from 1931, which was enacted way before Roe v. Wade was passed. Essentially, Michigan state allows abortions, but certain counties are more conservative than others and want to enforce abortion bans. Roe v. Wade being overturned was considered a matter of states' rights. Now this is turning into a matter of county rights. I say, why stop there? What about city, town, and even neighborhood rights? Before you know it, even if abortion is banned in your state, you'll be able to get one at your next block party. I know, that joke may have upset some of you. I mean, can you imagine actually having to interact with your neighbors? Now, according to an actor in the upcoming Star Wars Disney Plus series Andor, the show will criticize Trump-era politics. The show creator has written a great, scurrilous take on the Trumpian world. Our world is exploding in different places right now, and people's rights are disappearing. And Andor reflects that. Because that's exactly what everyone wants out of Star Wars. Twitter discourse. I know when I'm tired and depressed from watching the news, I like taking a mental health break by watching a series that takes place long, long ago and far, far away, where aliens argue over space abortion and lightsaber control after a mass slicing at a Jedi school. More after the break. Welcome back. The Academy of Breastfeeding Medicine has introduced a gender-neutral language guide for U.S. hospitals. A co-author of this language guide said, ABM recognizes that not all people who give birth and lactate identify as female, and that some individuals identify as neither female nor male. The language that we use should be as inclusive as possible when discussing infant feeding. Look, inclusion sounds great, but father's milk? Okay, A, that's not actually gender neutral, and B, father's milk. That is already a term for something. And according to Urban Dictionary, it isn't breast milk. How about we call it something a little less unsettling? How about breast milk? That term already works, And as we know from the documentary Meet the Parents, you can milk anything with nipples. President Biden tested positive for COVID again this week after overcoming the illness and testing negative just over a week ago. This so-called rebound COVID case came shortly after he completed a course of the antiviral treatment Paxlovid. Rebound cases are rare after taking Paxlovid, but not unheard of. While Biden feels well now, he's being monitored, as there's always the chance, although slim, he could take a turn for the worse. In response to this, Vice President Kamala Harris said, "So you're saying there's a chance." Speaking of diseases coming back, polio. Yes, that polio. It's bad enough monkeypox is spreading. Now we've also got polio on the apocalypse bingo card. Polio was found in wastewater samples in Rockland County, New York. And polio was later found in sewage samples in another county outside of New York City, which indicates that it's spreading. The wastewater was tested after the first U.S. case of polio since 2013 was discovered in Rockland County last month. The fact that samples of the disease are being found in the wastewater means others have it, and experts have warned residents to get vaccinated. This is definitely bad. But as someone who lives in New York, polio isn't even close to the worst thing being flushed down the toilet here. There's rotten food, pieces of dead people, and Andrew Cuomo's hopes of being president one day. Speaking of terrorists we haven't heard about in a while, al-Qaeda. President Biden confirmed the U.S. government killed al-Qaeda leader Ayman al Zawahiri, who took over the terrorist organization after Osama bin Laden was killed in 2011. Al-Zawahiri was killed by a CIA drone. According to a senior Biden administration official, over the weekend the United States conducted a counter-terrorism operation against a significant al-Qaeda target in Afghanistan. The operation was successful and there were no civilian casualties. Yeah, you know drones don't have a good track record when you have to immediately clarify that there were no civilian casualties this time. That's like Caitlyn Jenner coming back from the grocery store and saying, "I've got the milk, and I didn't run over anyone with my car." But this was a successful mission. This is the biggest leader the CIA has taken out since, anyway, they were able to take out al-Zawahiri by monitoring him, recognizing his morning routine, and then launching the precision strike as he stood on his balcony. Which proves that waking up early, getting some fresh air, and developing a morning routine can get you killed. Looks like it's sleeping past noon and watching cartoons all day for me, for safety. President Biden called this justice, as al-Zawahiri was allegedly one of the plotters behind the September 11th attacks. He also said that now that al-Zawahiri was dead, he will never again allow Afghanistan to become a terrorist safe haven because he is gone, and we're going to make sure that nothing else happens. Yeah, terrorists will never again gain power in Afghanistan. Obviously, except for the Taliban. But hey, mission accomplished, am I right? And after the break, Nancy Pelosi visits Taiwan. Welcome back. Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan this week. This is the most drama I've seen unfold on a trip since The Hangover. Communist China condemned this visit, saying this seriously infringes upon China's sovereignty. Over a country they're not sovereign over. China even threatened military action in response to Pelosi's visit. They fired precision missile strikes in the Taiwan Strait shortly after she left, showing that they're extremely serious about meaningless gestures. Pelosi met with Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen in Taipei and said America's determination to preserve democracy here in Taiwan and around the world remains ironclad. Today, our delegation, which I'm very proud, came to Taiwan to make unequivocally clear we will not abandon our commitment to Taiwan, and we are proud of our enduring friendship. Now, some people are calling this trip a provocation that makes Biden look weak. Those people are stupid. It's being too afraid to stand up to China that makes Biden look weak. That and not being able to open a jar of pickles. Pelosi actually has a long history of standing up to the Chinese Communist Party. She visited China in 1991 and protested the Tiananmen Square massacre. Or as it's known in China, the what? Speaking of China, President Biden called on China, as well as Russia, to work on a new nuclear arms treaty. This is part of a UN conference meeting over the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, or NPT. In a statement, Biden said, I've worked on arms control from the earliest days of my career, and the health of the NPT has always rested on meaningful reciprocal arms limits between the United States and Russian Federation. There might be some hope for this. In a letter to the participants of the NPT conference, Putin wrote, "We proceed from the fact that there can be no winners in a nuclear war, and it should never be unleashed, and we stand for equal and indivisible security for all members of the world community." Putin is saying there must never be nuclear war? Putin threatens nuclear war on every chef that overcooks his steaks. We'll see how much you like being burned to crisp. Biden also called on China specifically, saying China also has a responsibility as an NPT nuclear weapon state and a member of the UN Permanent Security Council to engage in talks that will reduce the risks of miscalculation and address destabilizing military dynamics. Yeah, I'm sure those talks will go well. After all, it's not like China would do anything rash, like, say, I don't know, threaten military action over some congresswoman visiting Taiwan. So, what do you think about the stories we covered this week? Leave your comments below. And be sure to support America Uncovered by going to patreon.com/America Uncovered. Contribute $1 or more per episode. We rely on your support to help us keep making great episodes. Or join our exclusive censorship-free social media community on Locals. Check out americauncovered.locals.com. Once again, I'm Matt Gnezda. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.